Hello Internet, it's Funny Hewlett here with another Burn and Learn, and I missed yesterday. Oh my gosh, I broke one of my cardinal rules. I didn't exercise yesterday, but I have a really good reason, and I'll tell you that in a second. Also, check it out. It's looking kind of neat and tidy over there, isn't it? Look at that, huh? There used to be a washer and a dryer there. I had in a fit of sort of manly organization, I picked up the washer and the dryer and I dragged them to the back door, and then I screamed for Jane to help me carry them up the stairs because she's way better and smarter about making these things work and fit through doors. So anyways, Burn and Learn, for those of you who don't know, is my bit to stay alive and fit long enough to raise my amazing son and to enjoy the twilight years with my brilliant, beautiful wife, Jane. Hate exercise, it's boring, so I like to learn something while I'm doing it, and then I like to share what I've learned with you in the sweatiest way possible, something I'm definitely doing today. So yesterday, I failed to Burn and Learn yesterday, and I'll tell you why. Because Bratlett had to try out a new school yesterday. He had a day of orientation at a new school, just to see if he likes it, to see if he fits in, to see if they like him, all that kind of jazz. So our fingers are crossed on that to some extent. I mean, he's got another school that I really like. And our attempt here is to try to find a place where he can get a little bit more one-on-one time with the teachers, and because I think he really needs that focus. He's having a really hard time focusing on this stuff. He's having a hard time seeing the reason for it and really caring about it. So I think it's an issue that a lot of people have. I'm hearing a lot of parents echoing the same concerns. So we're looking at, unfortunately or fortunately, private school. I don't know how we're going to pay for it, but we'll figure it out. But the advantage is simply class size. Like the class he's in right now is, God, is it 25? Like 25 or 30 something kids in his class right now? There were 9 in this one. So for math, doing perimeter and area, which he said he'd already done before, so he was a little concerned that the math wasn't, advanced enough for him. But what they were doing was they were measuring the classroom. So creating the area of the classroom, the perimeter of the classroom. They were up physically doing stuff, measuring stuff. So of course, as a parent, your heart leaps because you go, oh my gosh, this is making it real for them. Like giving them something to make that connection between what they're learning and what's happening in the world. So just really great to see him come back from school talking about that kind of stuff. So our fingers are crossed on that. There's another school, as I say, that he's up for as well, which I really like, but it's very focused on the school, and I think he's on the school work, and I think he's a bit worried that it's gonna be too much work, which may be good, who knows. Burn and Learn today, I've been working on my Mind for Numbers again, 2 great chapters. One is about learning by yourself, which is something I do a lot, and the importance of bouncing ideas off other people, and that even if you don't like other people, there's this great discussion by an introvert who used to write the answers to his university math question homework on another student's door, and they would just, their whiteboards, and they would just argue back and forth on their whiteboards about what the answer was, and that's how he would run stuff by it. But that it's important, so you focus on your own stuff. Working on your own is the best way to learn, because it's where you get to lock it in the way that to work the way you want to work, to look for other sources to make it make sense for yourself. So as long as you're working properly and trying to make things make sense to you, not just plowing through it by rote. There's a really nice image that they talk about how there are some people who wander through the woods feeling the pine needles under their feet and seeing the animal tracks and the wind in the trees, and there are other ones who can blast through that forest at 100 miles an hour. You don't see anything, it's just easy, it's done, and that it's not necessarily the right or wrong way of doing it. Some people things come easier to than others, and some people just prefer or are built to focus on the minutia and take more time with stuff. And I think I'm a weird combination of the two. I'm probably trying to go too fast through the stuff that I should be wandering, and I should be smelling those pine needles instead of just sort of seeing how fast the car can go. Definitely trying to find my own style of learning here, and also hoping to inspire and sort of guide Bratlett in his learning approach, because I really wish that this is something that I'd known before. I mean, it's very helpful now, but the idea of being able to, even if I didn't take it all in, just a few little things, just things like, one of the ones I liked was, for taking tests, and one of the sections I was reading today was about taking tests, and it says how, you need to take that stress of taking a test and turn it into excitement. Like, tell yourself that you're not freaking out, you're excited about taking the test. Like tricking your mind into thinking about the stress that's happening in a more positive way. Probably wouldn't help me. I'm pretty good at stressing out. And then also how you can jump to the hardest question, or as they say, eat your frogs first. Do the tough stuff first. Try those hard questions first. You get stuck on them, which you most likely will. Go back, start doing the easy ones again, and just bounce back and forth. and that allows your, what they would call your diffuse mind, to focus on it in a large, from a bigger picture, rather than focusing in on the minutiae that you can get caught up on. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, that you just got to be, you got to be able to argue stuff with people without taking it personally. That you can discuss homework and solutions to homework, but it's very important to know that people are not criticizing you, they're criticizing the analytical process or the way you've answered a question, and that can be very useful, and that there's this tendency today to try to avoid conflict and make everything calm and cool. The reality is you should be able to argue, but you should also be able to argue without taking offense. So I thought that was another thing. I was so timid in class. I was so terrified of making an idiot of myself. And I still am to some extent, although I think I go out of my way to make an idiot of myself, to make up, so that I don't make an idiot of myself, if that makes sense. Maybe that's what this is about to some extent, is that, is getting these ridiculous exercise sessions out to you guys in a bid to sort of, I don't know, well, I know it's to guilt myself into working, but maybe this is part of my working process, is the sharing of this stuff. So anyways, just a great read. So no videos today, just been doing the reading. I'd like to get through the book, because I feel like it's taken a long time, and I want to go back and sort of hit some of the highlights of it so that I can talk about it with Bratlett. They've also apparently got another version for kids and high school, so I'm going to look through that one as well. I'll probably find that one easier. So anyways, until we geek again, sweaty or not, here I come. Cheerio!